I got this quote from someone, I think it was William James, and he said, you can learn something about the normal, let's say, just speaking casually, sort of like the norm, what's in the middle of the bell curve in religion by going to the fringes and seeing the fringes and the tendencies on the fringes. And that's been part of my study of American religion, going to the, frankly, like way more atypical or weirder groups and noticing organically, I didn't go in with this presupposition, that it kind of does reflect something back onto the whole. In good or, bad ways. It could be pathological, it could be really positive. Usually it's a mix of those things together, probably for every group, myself included. It's almost like if you took some of the ideas that were present in the Reformation and just slammed it to like 200 miles an hour, it kind of makes sense that America got to certain places. You have a group together and you're like, well, we can communicate with God directly. We don't need the church. We don't need these priests. We don't need all this stuff. And then eventually you get some guy in the room who's like, well, why do we even need the Bible? If we can just talk to God directly, we don't even need scripture or anything. And then everyone else is like, whoa, pump the brakes, buddy. But that kind of taking a premise and it accelerating maybe a little bit too far for some people, let's say, is part of what I find really interesting about it. Now we have this new continent open and people are free, kind of in my opinion, almost for the first time, really in a way, to do what they want and think what they want, again, whether that's good or bad. So anyway, that all kind of comes together with the apocalypse because it's this imminent sense of urgency. Where are we going? What are we doing? And I think for whatever reason, American spirituality often does look down the road towards this, okay, but if Jesus is coming back, shouldn't we be ready for it? It's really going to happen. I also just think that, because I realized that's kind of where I started answering that question, is that, yeah, it also relates to the American psyche for me in a way. I touched on it in the comic for a second, but there also is something about the American spirit that, whether it's real or not, feels like it just broke free of these chains. And I think that contributes to the kind of like wild energy that's present in it, kind of a paranoia, like maybe the chains are going to come back. And then that paranoia bleeds out into revelation, prophecy. There's a whole history of people, having visions to a pretty crazy extent. I mean, like almost normalized, like, hey, did you go to church on Sunday? Did you have a vision or something? Like, yeah, I did. Let me tell you about it.